Tie yourself to the mast. If you don't have discipline or willpower, but you're really smart, tie yourself to the mast, just like King Odysseus. This might actually save your life. Odysseus was a Greek king who fought for 10 years in Troy. And now that he was heading home victorious, all he wanted was to be with his beautiful queen Penelope again and hold his son Telemachus in his arms. But there was a problem. On the way back, he had to sail through a narrow reef that was swarming with sirens. No sailor had ever made it through because the sirens, with their singing, would make you hallucinate and see the thing you desired most on the reefs, so you'd crash your ship and get eaten alive. Odysseus had one strength beyond brilliance: humility. He admitted, "I don't have more willpower than others. I'd fall for the sirens too, but I want to hear them." So he made a plan. His sailors plugged their ears with wax and tied him tightly to the mast. He warned them, "I'll beg you to release me, but don't. Not until we're clear." As they entered the reef, it was worse than they expected. One sailor's wax seal failed. The siren's song reached him, and he was overcome. Without warning, he leapt into the sea. Odysseus, meanwhile, hallucinated, screamed, and thrashed. But the ropes held, and the crew, deaf to it all, kept rowing. Before we continue with the end of the story, pause for a moment. What are your sirens? How could you tie yourself to the mast? For example, Demosthenes, the Greek politician, to keep himself tied to the mast, would shave half his head and half his beard so he'd be too embarrassed to go out. And that helped him resist the temptation to party with his friends and girlfriends. And Victor Hugo was just as wild. When he was writing Les Miserables, he'd strip naked and give his clothes to his servant, telling him not to return them for 4 hours until he gets the work done. You can do the same. I struggle with working out, so I gave my roommate $250 and told him, "If I skip a run this month, it's yours." I didn't miss a day. Trying to eat healthy? Get rid of the chips, cookies, and ice cream. Fill your fridge with food that supports your goal. Who or what tempts you? How can you prepare so your future self doesn't have to rely on willpower? Back to Odysseus. As the sirens sang, he saw visions of Penelope and his son Telemachus on the rocks, calling his name. They looked real, desperate, pleading. Overcome with emotion, he screamed and thrashed, pulling with all his might. The ropes cut into his skin, but they held. His plan had worked. He had protected himself from himself. And a few days later, he returned to Ithaca, to his throne, to his family. Chapter 6 of Atomic Habits talks about this: how you can design your environment to make it easier to resist temptation and achieve your goals. In this video, I'll show you how to download it for free.